People say a marriage breaks slowly, like a crack spreading quietly through glass. But for her, it didn't break quietly at all. It snapped, loud, humiliating, and right in the middle of a busy street. And the worst part, she wasn't even doing anything wrong. She was just trying to help her own home, in the only honest way she knew how. That morning, the sun was already burning through the heat when she set up her small basket of homemade sandwiches. She'd woken up early, kneaded dough with tired hands, packed everything with a little ribbon because she believed details mattered. She wasn't looking for glory. She wasn't even looking for profit. She simply wanted to contribute something, anything, to the home she shared with the man she loved. She had no idea her good intentions would become the spark that revealed everything. As she handed a warm sandwich to a hungry customer, she smiled with gentle pride. But the smile vanished the moment she heard his voice, the voice of her husband, sharp, disapproving, slicing right through the morning. "What are you doing here?" She turned, startled, her joy instantly shrinking. "Hi, my love. I just thought maybe I could earn a little—" "Here?" he snapped, staring at the basket in disbelief. "You really came to my workplace to sell sandwiches?" The way he said it, sandwiches, as if the word itself tasted insulting, made her chest tighten. "I told you I wanted to start a small business," she said softly. "It's just something simple to help out." He scoffed. "And you couldn't think of anything else? This makes me look like I can't even provide for my own wife." A customer nearby glanced awkwardly at them. She felt her cheeks burn, not because she was ashamed of what she was doing. She wasn't. She was ashamed because her husband treated her like she should be. "Please don't talk like that," she whispered. "People can hear us." His eyes flashed. "Exactly. That's why you need to leave, right now. You're embarrassing me." Before she could defend herself, another voice chimed in, a confident, polished voice. A woman. "There's nothing embarrassing about her work," the woman said. She turned to see a striking woman in professional attire, elegant but bold, someone who clearly belonged to a higher floor and a higher rank. The boss, the economist, the kind of woman whose perfume probably cost more than an entire week of groceries. The woman smiled gently at her. "Street vendors aren't a problem, and the sandwiches look delicious." But instead of softening her husband, those words only made him stiffen. He didn't like being corrected, especially not by her. "It's fine," he muttered through clenched teeth. "You've already made this difficult enough." The tension between them felt off, too familiar, too charged. The wife didn't know it yet, but she had just stepped into the same frame as the woman who was stealing her husband right behind her back. Still, she tried to stay calm. "I'll leave," she said quietly. "I didn't mean to cause trouble." Her husband exhaled sharply, not out of relief, but irritation. "Just go." She picked up her basket. Not because she agreed, but because she refused to make a scene. She loved him enough to walk away, but someone else noticed the tears she tried to hide. A man, well-dressed, kind eyes, accidentally bumped into her basket, knocking a few sandwiches out of place. "I'm so sorry," he said. "Here, let me help. Wait. Are you okay?" She forced a smile. "I'm fine." But he saw the shimmer in her eyes, the way she hugged the basket to her chest like a shield. "You're crying," he said gently. "No, really, I'm fine." He didn't buy it, and he didn't walk away. "How much for all the sandwiches?" he asked. Her eyes widened. "Oh, no, you don't have to. They got squished and—" "I don't care," he said warmly. "Next time you see me, just sell me one each day. We'll settle the difference over time." For the first time that morning, someone made her feel seen, not judged, not belittled, seen. "Thank you," she whispered. "Hang in there," he said. "Bad days don't last forever." She didn't know it yet, but that stranger would soon become the only person who truly understood her pain. Meanwhile, behind her, her husband returned to the woman in the elegant outfit, the one who stepped into the argument, the one he shouldn't have been talking to like that, the one who smiled at him a little too comfortably. and when she leaned closer and whispered, "Well, soon none of this will matter. Not once we run away together." Everything finally made sense. The shame, the anger, the hostility toward his own wife. It wasn't just embarrassment, it was guilt, and she was about to discover just how far that guilt went. The next day, she returned with her basket, still warm, still hopeful, but something inside her felt different now. The kindness of the stranger lingered like a small light in a very dark hallway. And yet she walked into the company courtyard with careful steps, almost afraid her husband might appear again. Instead, she saw the same man from yesterday, the one who bought all her sandwiches. He waved, almost relieved to see her. "You came back," he said. "I did," she answered softly. "I really need the income." "Well, you're welcome here," he said sincerely, "and if anyone gives you trouble, they'll answer to me." She blinked, confused. "Why, you?" He smiled. "Because I work here. More specifically, I own the place." Her breath caught. She had sold sandwiches to the company owner, the same man her husband desperately tried to impress. And the owner had treated her with more respect in 2 minutes than her husband had in months. Still stunned, she bowed her head slightly. "Thank you. That means a lot to me." Before their conversation could continue, she heard footsteps. Fast, sharp, irritated. She knew that sound. She felt her chest tighten before she even turned around. "What's going on here?" her husband demanded. The look in his eyes wasn't concern. It was fear. Fear of being exposed. She swallowed. "I was just selling." "I can see that," he snapped, "but I asked you not to come here." The company owner stepped forward. "She's not doing anything wrong." Paul stiffened. "With all due respect, sir, she's my wife, and we agreed she wouldn't show up here." "No," she said quietly. "You decided that, not me." For a moment, the owner looked between them, her trembling resolve and Paul's forced smile. Something didn't feel right. Something was off. "Everything all right, Paul?" he asked casually, but his eyes sharpened with suspicion. "Yes, sir. My wife and I were just talking." "Talking," the owner repeated. From where I was standing, it looked more like arguing. Before Paul could defend himself, the owner's assistant passed by and froze mid-step. She stared at Paul, then at the woman beside him, then at the trembling wife holding her basket. The assistant's eyes widened, but she kept walking. She knew something, and Paul knew that she knew. The air changed instantly. "Why are you even here?" Paul snapped at his wife again. "Go home, please, before you cause more chaos." Chaos? She bit her lip to keep it from trembling. The chaos wasn't her. It was everything happening behind her back. Just then, the woman from yesterday, Alejandra, appeared. The polished boss, the one who had stepped into the argument, the one who whispered things she shouldn't. She walked toward Paul with a smile that didn't belong on a co-worker's lips. "There you are," she said softly. "We were supposed to meet." His wife felt her stomach twist. "We were discussing the candidate for the new branch," Alejandra added quickly. But the way she looked at him, the way he avoided eye contact, the way they stood too close, like people who shared a secret, it was all wrong. The owner raised an eyebrow. "New branch?" "Yes," Paul said quickly, eager to shift the focus. "I thought Paul would be a good candidate." The owner's expression turned cold. "I'll choose that myself." Paul stiffened. "Of course, sir. I was just recommending." The wife watched all this quietly, but inside her, something clicked. His defensiveness, his panic, the lies wrapped in casual sentences, and the way Alejandra smiled at him, like she owned a part of him no one else could see. She had been ignored before. She had been humiliated before. But this was the first time she realized she wasn't imagining things. Her husband wasn't acting strange because of her. He was acting strange because of what he was hiding, When Alejandra leaned close and whispered something to Paul, the wife finally broke the silence. "What did she say to you?" she asked quietly. Paul froze, just for a second, but it was long enough. "Oh," Alejandra said with a soft, dangerous smile, "just work-related things. Nothing a wife needs to worry about." The wife's heart sank. The disrespect was no longer subtle. It was right in front of her. She picked up her basket, her voice low but steady. "If selling sandwiches embarrasses you so much, then maybe we shouldn't be married." Paul blinked. "What?" "You heard me." And for the first time, he looked afraid. Not of losing her, but of losing control. The moment she uttered the word divorce, something inside her shifted. Not anger, not spite, just clarity. For the first time in a long time, she wasn't afraid of losing him. She was afraid of losing herself. But while she walked away trying to breathe through the pain, another kind of panic was rising elsewhere, deep inside Paul and Alejandra's carefully built tower of secrets. Because secrets always collapse, and theirs was about to fall faster than either of them imagined. Later that afternoon, she found herself sitting on a bench just outside the company. Her hands were trembling, but not from fear, from exhaustion, emotional exhaustion, marital exhaustion, life exhaustion. She had barely caught her breath when a familiar voice approached gently. "Are you okay?" It was him, the owner. The stranger who had bought every sandwich she carried just to ease her sadness. She shook her head before she could stop herself. "No, but I'm trying." He sat beside her, careful not to intrude. "You don't have to tell me anything, but if something happened inside, I want you to know you're safe with me." Those words were too kind, too honest, and they cracked something in her she had been holding for far too long. She exhaled shakily. "My husband. He's not the man I thought he was." He nodded slowly. "I know." Her eyes widened. "You know?" He looked ahead, not at her. "A long time ago, I found out my wife was cheating, and I waited. I wanted to see how far she would go." The world stopped around her. His wife? Cheating? With who? He continued, voice low and calm in a way that made the truth even heavier. "She was involved with your husband." Her breath caught. "How long have you known?" "Long enough," he said. "Long enough to see the pattern, long enough to watch him lie to you, the same way she lied to me." She felt the world tilt sideways. "I can't believe he would do this to me." "I know it's painful," the owner said gently, "but if I survived it, you can too." Her voice trembled. "I don't know how." "You're stronger than you think," he replied, "and you're not alone anymore." For the first time, she realized it was true. She wasn't alone. Someone else understood her pain, fully, deeply, honestly. And that connection, unexpected and fragile, was enough to make her stand again. While they spoke honestly, inside the company, chaos was boiling under polished floors. Alejandra stormed into Paul's office, slamming the door behind her. "She's going to tell him," she hissed. "Your wife knows something. I can feel it." Paul paced, running his hands through his hair. "She won't say anything. She's scared. She won't ruin my life." "Oh, please," Alejandra snapped. "She's not scared. She's angry, and angry people talk." "We can contain it," Paul insisted. "We just need time." "We don't have time," Alejandra whispered harshly. "If she talks to her boss, everything will come out, everything." His face drained of color, the affair, the money, the plan, all of it. She stepped closer, her voice low and urgent. "We have to leave, right now, before everything blows up." Paul stared at her as if realizing, for the first time, that the woman he risked everything for was just as terrified as he was. Maybe even more. "What about the money?" he asked. "We get it today," she said. "We grab it, disappear, and never look back." "And the new branch?" he asked, voice shaking. If we take the funds, we'll ruin everything." She rolled her eyes. "Paul, we were never planning to stay here. The money is the only thing that matters." He hesitated, and that hesitation made her furious. "Listen to me," she said sharply. "If your wife says one word, we lose everything. It's now or never." Paul finally nodded, not out of courage, out of fear. Alejandra grabbed her phone. "Francis," she said sweetly, "issue the check, $100,000, to the account I told you about." "That account isn't the company's," Francis hesitated. "It belongs to Andrea." "Exactly," Alejandra said. "She approved it." Francis didn't argue. She processed it. Just like that, the theft was complete. Paul watched it all unfold, sweat forming at his temples. He had the money. He had the plan. He had the ticket out. But he also had the sinking feeling that everything was going to go horribly wrong. Outside, the owner turned to the woman beside him. "If you want," he said quietly, "I can show you how this story ends. All of it." She looked up at him, surprised. "How?" "Because I already know where they're going," he said. "And I think it's time we both stopped letting them walk over us." Her voice was barely a whisper. "What exactly are we going to do?" He didn't smile. He didn't gloat. He simply stood, offering her his hand. "Come," he said. "Let's finish this." And with that, two people, broken by the same betrayal, took the first step toward reclaiming their lives. Together. The car ride to the airport was quiet, too quiet. Paul and Alejandra sat in the back seat, each pretending everything was going according to plan, while both secretly fearing the other might betray them first. Alejandra tapped her nails anxiously against her handbag. "Paul, relax," she whispered. "Once we're on that plane, all of this will be behind us." But Paul wasn't listening. His hands trembled slightly and his eyes kept darting to his phone. Do you think my wife told him something?" Alejandra rolled her eyes. "Even if she did, what can he do? By the time anyone figures this out, we'll be long gone." She didn't sound convinced, because she wasn't, but neither of them expected who would be waiting when the car finally pulled up to the terminal. There, standing beneath the fluorescent lights of the drop-off lane, was Jose Daniel, calm, collected, completely unbothered. Beside him was the woman they had both betrayed, Paul's wife, her expression steady, almost heartbreakingly calm. Paul froze. Alejandra's breath hitched. It felt like the world had dropped out from under their feet. "My love," Alejandra began, but he cut her off sharply. "Spare me the lies," he said, voice cold enough to freeze air. "I know everything." He looked directly at both of them. No yelling, no theatrics, just a stillness that was somehow more terrifying than rage. "You stole from my company," he said, "and you betrayed your marriages, and you thought you could run." Alejandra stepped forward, desperation rising. "Who told you? It was that gossip Francis, wasn't it?" "It doesn't matter who told me," he replied. "It only matters what happens now." Paul swallowed hard. "Listen, we can fix this, sir. I can return the money. I can explain." "There's nothing to explain," Jose Daniel said. "The police are already on their way." Alejandra snapped her head toward Paul. "You said this was safe." I didn't know." "You never know anything," she screamed. The wife watched them unravel, the chaos revealing who they truly were. And for the first time since all of this began, she felt no guilt, no confusion, only clarity. Jose Daniel continued calmly. "There are only two options. One of you can testify against the other to reduce your sentence. Only one. The other takes all the blame." Silence. Then, "I'll talk," Alejandra blurted, pointing directly at Paul. "He convinced me. He planned everything. I was manipulated." Paul staggered backward. "You liar. You were the one who wanted the money." "You pushed me into this," she scoffed. "Why would I ruin my life for you? You were just a distraction." Paul's face broke, not just from fear, but from betrayal. He had destroyed his marriage. for a woman who didn't even hesitate to throw him to the wolves. He turned toward his wife, voice cracking. "Please, help me. I made mistakes, but I didn't mean to hurt you." She lifted her chin. Her voice was steady. "You already did." Sirens echoed in the distance. 2 police officers approached, hands on their belts. Alejandra started to cry, not from regret, but because she realized she'd lost the game she thought she was winning. "Wait," she yelled. "I'll cooperate. I swear I'll tell you everything." Paul fell to his knees. "Please, don't take me. I'm begging you." But consequences don't disappear just because someone is afraid of them. "Ma'am?" an officer asked the wife. "Would you like to press charges?" She looked at Paul, her husband, the man who humiliated her, cheated on her, and tried to drag her into his downfall. Then she looked at José Daniel, who gave her a tiny nod of reassurance. "Yes," she said softly, "I would." It was the first time she chose herself. The officers handcuffed Alejandra and Paul. Alejandra tried to twist away. Paul didn't resist. He just stared at his wife with a mixture of regret and disbelief, as if he never imagined the woman he underestimated could stand so strong. "You said you loved me," he whispered. "Maybe I did," she said, "but love doesn't excuse everything, not anymore." And with that, the officers led them away. Hours later, after statements were written and evidence collected, the owner walked her outside. The evening breeze felt different, cleaner somehow. "I'm sorry you had to go through all of this," he said gently. She shook her head. "I'm not anymore. It finally ended." He smiled softly. "Good. You deserve better than what they gave you." She hugged her basket to her chest, almost embarrassed. "I guess I'll keep selling sandwiches. It's all I know how to do." "It's honest work," he said. "And if you need a witness for your divorce, I'll be there." She met his eyes, warm, sincere, healing. "Thank you," she whispered. Days passed. Life slowly rearranged itself. Then one afternoon, as she was packing sandwiches, she heard a familiar voice. "Do you still remember me?" She spun around. There he was, José Daniel. "You came back," she breathed. "I realized I missed something," he said. "Maybe it was the sandwich, or maybe the person who makes it." Her heart fluttered, gently, cautiously. "I thought you were gone for good." "I thought so too," he replied. "But then I read the note you left me, and I wanted to see you again." A long, soft pause, daring, hopeful, new. "Would you like to get a coffee with me?" he asked. Nothing more than 2 people who survived a storm, choosing to see where sunlight leads. She smiled, small, genuine, beautiful. "I'd like that." "Good," he said. "And don't forget, I'm still buying a sandwich. I haven't had breakfast." She laughed for the first time in a long time. "Let's go."